group of people are invited to play a game of death with a winning prize that will make them millionaires. That's why today on the Summarizer, Squid Game. The story begins with Gi-yeon, a boy who works as a driver. He lives with his mother and she gives him some money so he can buy fried chicken for his daughter's birthday. But he sees that money isn't enough for anything, so she gives him some more and leaves the house complaining about a backache. When Gi-yeon leaves, he finds a card from his mother, withdraws all the money, and goes to gamble.
Because that's what a man does.
On the first bet he loses, but on the second bet he wins and tells his daughter that he has money, so he can take her out to eat whatever she wants and will get her a big present. Then he hangs up because some guys to whom he owed money were around. They start following him and he collides with a woman, falls, and then they catch him. He says he already has some money and he can give it to them, but when he wants to give them the money he won in the bets, it was gone because he realizes that when he crashed into the woman, she stole his money. So the bad guys make him sign a paper waiving his physical rights because if he doesn't pay them in a month, they will take a kidney and an eye. They leave and the night arrives. To get his daughter's gift, he goes to some games to try to get a teddy bear, but he can't. And finally, with the help of a boy, he gets something. He goes to give the gift to his daughter, but when the girl opens it, it turns out to be a gun, and obviously the girl doesn't like it very much. Then Gi-yeon goes to leave her with her mother, who already has another child and a new husband. Then Gi-yeon goes to catch the train, but he's too late and the last one had already left. So he sits down to wait, and at that moment, a mysterious guy tells him that he could earn money in exchange for some games. Gi-yeon doesn't believe anything, but decides to play all night. He keeps losing and getting beaten a lot.
Whoa, just take it easy, man.
Until finally he wins and the guy gives him some money. At the end, he gives him a card on which there's a number he must call if he wants to continue playing games and winning money. Then he goes to a store to buy some fish and asks for Sang-gu, who is his friend and is on a business trip abroad. Then he goes to see his mother and shows her all the money he earned. He tells her that he did it with a clean job and the old lady doesn't believe him. But she tells him that he must fight for his daughter because her mother will take her to the USA and he still has a chance to get her back if he proves that he has enough money to keep her. For that reason, he decides to call the number on the card. He's summoned to a place, a guy in red goes to pick him up. He sees that everyone who was there was asleep, and at that moment, they also put him to sleep. Hours go by, and he wakes up in a uniform along with 455 other people who are there to play and win money. All these people have an arrival number and are identified by that, as no one reveals their name. Gi-yeon is number 456 and meets number 1. He tells him that he's in that place because he has a tumor in his head, and for that reason he prefers to go and enjoy playing than to be bored at home with nothing to do. Then some guys in red arrive to explain that all of them will play for 6 days, 6 games, and the winner will get a big cash prize, which is money collected in this box. So they all start signing their acts of consent, which is divided into 3 rules. Number 1 is that the player cannot stop playing. Number 2 is that the player who refuses to play will be eliminated. And rule number 3 is that the games can end, but if the majority agrees. Then comes the first game.
It's showtime!
In which Gi-yeon finds his friend who was supposedly on a business trip. Then everyone starts to play the game, which is called red light, green light. But first of all, we observe the leader who runs the place and says that the game should start now. The game consists in that the participants can move forward until the doll shouts green light. When saying this, everyone must stop and stay still, because if they move, they will be automatically eliminated. To win, they must move to the other end and cross the line, but they have a time limit of 5 minutes. The game starts with everyone moving forward while the doll sings, finishes, and observes everyone. But one of the players moved and is eliminated. Everyone keeps moving forward until his friend realizes that he's dead. The doll detects that he moved and automatically eliminates him. So now everyone understands that when they said eliminate them, they meant kill them.
Life sure is full of surprises.
They run desperately and most of them end up dying. Now they all know that they must move forward and cross the line or else they will all die. So they keep playing while the leader is super comfortable watching everything. The old man and Sang-gu make it through, but Gi-yeon doesn't. Time is running out and he stumbles, but number 199 saves them. The doll manages to sing again, time is up, and both of them make it through.
He must be the stupidest son of a bitch alive, but he sure is fast.
Those who didn't pass die. Finish the game and we find out that this place is on a super far away island. After game number 1, out of 456 players, there are now only 201 players left. Some players no longer want to continue playing, and so, remembering the third rule, they will hold a vote to see if they will continue playing or not. They all vote. 100 say they want to leave, and 100 say they don't. And finally, the old man decides to vote not to continue playing. Some participants get very angry because of that, and for that reason, the red square says that if they want to return, the doors will be open and they will resume the game. After that, he says goodbye, and they left all the participants in different places. Gi-yeon goes to tell everything to the police, but they don't believe him, except for one guy who's also a policeman, and he keeps looking at the card. Later, he can't find his mother and gets the call that she's in the hospital because apparently she's diabetic and was not treated in time. They have to hospitalize her, but the lady ignores it since she has no money and decides to leave the hospital. Later, we see Jun-ho, the policeman whose brother is missing, who finds the same card as Gi-yeon. On the other hand, the guy who saved Gi-yeon's life, named Ali, goes to collect what he's owed so he can finally go home to his family. He hands the money to his wife, tells her that he has to do something and will be back. In the meantime, Sang-woo has been having a hard time. He's in debt, and the card arrives again. Gi-yeon meets the old man, who tells him that he'll go back to the games since he feels free in there and has nothing to do outside. The next day, Ali, Sang-woo, the girl, and the old man also come back. The policeman follows the cars, fights one of the Reds, and manages to infiltrate. Everyone wakes up, and we see that out of 200 players, only 187 have returned. Everyone starts to form their groups in order to win the next games. Gi-yeon teams up with Sang-woo, Ali, and the old man. Hours go by, and it's time to play game number 2.
And I'm so excited.
They take all the participants to the game room and make them choose one of 4 figures. Sang-woo chooses the triangle, Ali chooses the circle, the old man chooses the star, and Gi-yeon chooses the umbrella. After choosing their figure, they are handed out something and given the instructions, which are that they must detach the figure they chose within a time limit of 10 minutes. Everyone starts to play, many pass and many die. Gi-yeon can't get the umbrella off until he discovers that by licking the thing, it will melt and you can easily take the figure off. So he does it and makes it through. One of the participants goes crazy and threatens to kill the square if they do not reveal his identity. The square, who is the leader of all the Reds with the triangle-shaped head, reveals his identity, and upon seeing him, he shoots himself. Then the leader arrives to kill the square, since the rule in that place is that no one must know his identity. On the other hand, among the participants there's a doctor, whom a group of Reds take to an operating room so that he can remove some organs and they can sell him. In return, the Reds tell him which game he will play next and mention that there will be a riot at night. For that reason, he must join the strongest team, since the strongest will kill the weakest. So he goes and joins the thug, telling him what the next game will be. Night comes and everyone starts fighting. Many die. This girl joins Ji-yeon's team, and the old man climbs to the top to ask everyone to stop. The leader accepts this request, and they stop everyone. Then the girl mentions her name, Sae-byeok, and it's time for the third game. This consists of choosing groups of 10. Ji-yeon's team is 5 people, so each one will look for one more member. Everyone takes a man except Sae-byeok, who got a girl. The old man couldn't get anyone, but this woman joins the group since others rejected her. To start the game, there's a rope. 2 teams face each other, and the team with more strength that pulls the other into the void will win. Sang-woo thinks all is lost since there are 3 women and an old man in the team, but thanks to the old man's technique, they win. Then the leader discovers the guys who sold the organs, finds them all, and kills them all, including the doctor. But there's a missing member of this team, number 29, who is precisely the infiltrated policeman. This guy was in the very office of the leader looking for data to find his brother and found that he was a player in 2015 and won. Now we go to the 4th game, which consists of forming teams of 2 to play marbles. The old man makes a group with Ji-yeon, Sang-woo with Ali, and Sae-byeok with the other girl. After that, they find out that they will play with each other. Those who win will move on to the next game, and those who don't will die. Sang-woo starts playing with Ali. Ali is beating him, so Sang-woo tells her that it's better if no one wins so they can both be saved. So they split their marbles, but Ali discovers that he cheated him, and instead of giving him his marbles, he gave him stones, and at that moment he's shot. On the other hand, Ji-yeon was cheating the old man, because he didn't even remember the words he said. For that reason, he was about to win and had only 1 marble left for the old man, but the elder gives it to him so that he can win, and tells him that he really did know the words, but he was letting him win. So the old man dies. Meanwhile, Sae-byeok had already made friends with the other girl until they play and the girl lets her win, since she told her about her little brother who's in a shelter and that what she would do with the prize would be to go and get him back. So Sae-byeok wins and the girl is killed. The next day, we observe the arrival of the VIPs, some very rich guys who go to watch the games for fun and gamble along the way. Now the cop infiltrates as a waiter, and one of the VIPs starts to seduce him and takes him to a room. There the cop threatens him and makes him tell him everything. Meanwhile, in the game, everyone died except for Jian, Sae-byeok, and Sang-woo. At the end of the game, everything explodes. Sae-byeok gets a super big wound, the cop manages to escape from the place and arrives at another island where he starts searching for mobile signal. He calls his boss to tell him everything and sends him all the evidence and notes he made during all this time. Meanwhile, the 3 finalists were invited to dinner. Everything was taken away and they were left with a knife. Now, going back to the policeman, the leader reveals to be his brother.
I can't believe what I'm seeing!
The policeman is shocked, and apparently all the evidence was not sent because in that place there's not much signal. So the leader kills his brother. Later, Sae-byeok and Jian become friends. They talk about how to take care of Sang-woo, and she tells him that if she ever dies, he must win and take care of his brother. At that moment, Sae-byeok feels sick, and Jian goes to find the people in red to ask for help. They open the door but enter with a box since Sae-byeok had died because of Sang-woo. Then comes the day of the last game, and it's called the Squid Game.
Activate the music, Mozart. And 1, and 2, and...
Jian was super furious and goes all out, but when he's about to kill him, he doesn't. But Sang-woo commits suicide though, and finally Jian wins. He's sent back to his hometown with all the money, and the first thing he does is to withdraw some to go see his mother, but when he finds her, she's already dead. A year later, he's at the bank because he has had a very large amount of money for a year and has not touched it at all. Then a lady offers him some flowers. He buys them, and there is a little card that belonged to the old man. He goes to see him and discovers that he's alive. There he tells him the whole truth, that he is a very rich old man, but he has a tumor in his head and his days were counted. For that reason, he decided to make his games, meaning that he is the real creator. Jian is very angry with him. 12 o'clock comes and the old man dies. Jian dyes his hair and finally decides to use his prize. He goes to take Sae-byeok's brothers out, leaves him with Sang-woo's mother, and gives her a lot of money to take care of him. He goes to the train and sees the same guy who made him play for the first time. He runs to see him, but he can't find him anymore. The one he does find is the man he made him play. He takes the card from him and is about to get on the plane to America to go see his daughter, but when he sees the card, he decides to stay to take revenge. That was Squid Game. Comment which series or movies you'd like me to summarize for future videos. See you later.
Okay. Bye.